Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
This is Carson Beck. I'm with USC. Talking to you guys.
Hey.
Cool.
Glad to be with you guys here today. What do you think is the biggest takeaway that the college audiences are going to get from this film? It touches on important issues like bullying. How do you think those very real issues are represented in this film?
I think they're going to feel right at home when they watch it. It's very conducive to our lives currently, just with an added element of horror, which you could argue is a part of our everyday lives on the internet. Some crazy things have happened and people have committed suicide because of things that people have said or posted online. And I think the beginning of the trailer really, hits the nail on the head when it says online your memories, or what is it? Your
Forever.
Yeah.
What is it?
Memories last forever, something like that?
Yeah, well, basically what it's saying, what Shelley's trying to say is like there's a record of everything you do. So if you're posting a mean comment, then maybe that's not a way you feel today, but you felt that way 3 years ago, there's still a record of it today. So all of those mistakes, they live forever online. And I think this movie does a good job of just touching on the subject of cyberbullying without having a clear, it's not trying to be a social commentary in any way.
Right.
But it's just exploring it and using that as justification and kind of seeing what would happen in the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's a what if in a very fictional sense, but it could very well happen in real life. And, unfortunately, people do commit suicide over cyberbullying. So hopefully, after seeing this, people will stop.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I think what the younger audience is going to connect with is being on a desktop. I mean, so much of our lives are on the computer. I mean, personally, I don't have a TV. This isn't mine. So everything I do is on a laptop. So if I'm watching something, I'm clicking around and opening up tabs. And I feel like definitely after you watch this movie, I mean, you just enough time just sitting down and watching this movie, you feel like you want to start moving around and clicking. And I think it's really haunting because it's using all the same sounds of Skype and Facebook Messenger and all these things that we're so familiar with, kind of like Spolsky's test with the dog and the bell. That you're used to all these conditioned responses to these sounds. And I feel like, just seeing an innovative story being told in this format is something that people are really going to connect with.
So the subject of the film, while it was definitely supernatural, it touched on a lot of real issues, namely bullying. Going into a film with that subject matter, do any of you have a background with those sort of issues, especially in a cyber world? Did that help inform your work on the film at all?
I mean, I have a YouTube sketch group, so we get pretty shitty comments all the time because everybody's just shitty, But I feel like at the same time, I'm old enough and wasn't thrown into the internet world my entire life, so there's a part of me that knows it's just a weirdo being mean, you know what I mean? So and it's not like I go home and read those comments and I'm like, fuck, that's shit. But it's there, and it's you get kind of affected by it, but mostly in the realm of why are people doing this? Why are they spending their time doing this?
People have way too much spare time on their hands.
I wanted to know today about what the challenges were of working in such a unique format. Was that easier to tune in with because online life we're all pretty tuned into that, or was it kind of challenging to be in such a different format?
I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was a fresh breath air, man. Totally different than your normal acting experience. You really got to kind of stretch and do something that you wanted to do. And I felt like we all got to bring in our own character and they weren't telling us what we had to do and how we had to be. So it was very freeing.
Yeah, I think it was definitely liberating being able to know that there were points that we had to hit within the story, but then just being able to have the freedom to, start a random conversation with another character in the scene, or, to be able to move around in ways that, normally if you're filming on a set, everything is very controlled. And in this environment, we really had much more control over how we looked and everything.
It's definitely a challenge when we first started because we were kind of using the regular format that a movie does, where you do one scene at a time, and then you stop down, you start again, and you redo it. And then one day we're at lunch, and Shelley has the idea that we should shoot the entire movie in one take. This way it'd be more conducive to the performances. This way we don't have to ramp up for a scene and go from 0 to 60. And initially we're all looking at it like, yeah, Shelley, we can't do that. That's insane. And yeah.
Thanks, Shells.
And then we tried it, and we were all very gladfully proven wrong.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about how it's it's filmed like a play, and we shot it all in one take and everything. But the movie actually, and I'm sure you can attest because you've seen it. You watch it almost like a play. I mean, you're going to have a different experience watching it than I am, because I might be watching Moses' screen in one while you're watching Shelley at the exact same time, and we could be getting two completely different experiences. Or if like text is scrolling through, I might be like, okay, now I'm trying to read up here while you're trying to read down there, and you might catch pieces of different things that affect you.
And Timur originally had the idea because he basically lives on Skype. I mean, Nelson was telling us he'll be directing a movie in Russia and then be Skyping with Nelson while he's, on set with us for Unfriended, and he's Skyping with Nelson, and then Timur's like, just 1 second. He's like, action! And he comes back. He's like, okay, and he can direct 2 movies at one time just because of the internet. So his idea came from the fact that he's always on Skype. That's how he functions. And then he and Nelson, I guess, figured out how to make the movie, and they added the horror element. They figured out that was the key, and I think they really nailed it with that.
Young people are really going to latch onto this film. What do you think they're going to come away from this movie with as being the most important factor?
I mean, I think this film is really directed at your generation. I'm dating myself now, but really at the generation of kids that are in school right now and that are experiencing these things at the same time. And it's shot in a way that I think brings these real issues that are happening right to the forefront. I think it's in a way that really speaks to them because this is the way that they live their lives. They are almost entirely online. I think people have a harder time speaking in person now because so much of their lives are online through text, through Skype, through Uvu, through all those things.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I think we got to wrap it up now, but I really appreciate you chatting with me. Really enjoyed the film, and best of luck.
I got to wrap it up for now, guys. Thank you very much for chatting with me. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed the film.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Nice meeting you.